if you sort by some of the best fantasy performers over the past couple of weeks, you will not find Harrison Bader in there. He is just 4 for 24 since coming off the injured list. He's been hurt a lot this year, hamstring, oblique injuries, but in the games he has played, 33 games this season, he's packed a lot of production in that time. 6 home runs, 21 RBIs, 7 steals, 16 runs scored. I don't think he's the kind of guy where you're going to get a ton of power, but if there's any place that he can maximize it, it's obviously Yankee Stadium. The Yankees lineup is not very good. So to just say like, oh, he's in the Yankees lineup, it's positive. Right now, that is not true. But Yankee Stadium certainly being in his favor. I think we saw a little bit down the stretch last year with Bader, what he's capable of doing there in Yankee Stadium. I still think, given his track record where we've seen that power speed combination, the rest of the way, assuming he can stay healthy, another really great defender helps his chances of staying on the field. The Yankees have moved on from Aaron Hicks. He's going to play. Stanton has struggled since coming back. Judge is, who knows when he's coming back. Bader's going to play. I still think he has a chance the rest of the way to give you 5 to 10 home runs, steal 10 more bases, give you some nice totals and runs scored. So even though he's struggled recently, I expect him to get back on track and be a useful fantasy performer.
Yeah. I've always kind of been intrigued by Bader. I think he has like an underrated power speed combo where, it's not like Acuna powered speed, but there is enough in there to make him useful in both categories. And listen, the Yankees, maybe not to the same extent as the Padres, but it's a lineup that I think has to wake up at some point. Stanton has been awful since coming off the IL. Gleyber Torres, since his hot first month of the year, has been terrible. It might be 4 weeks until we see Aaron Judge again. I mean, there's really no real timeline for that the torn ligaments. But I just think that there's enough talented hitters in that lineup that they'll be fine without Judge. They've been like one of the worst offenses in all of baseball in June. So I think you can buy the dip a little bit on some of these guys.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think over the weekend, I think Sunday, I tweeted out the Yankees were hitting 198 as a team in June, which is basically impossible, really. I mean,
it's worth. I mean, it's Oakland A's level ineptitude.
Yeah, but they're not that. I mean, the second half of the lineup is bad. We'll see how long the Josh Donaldson thing goes on. I think he's close to done, honestly.
Yeah.
But Bader has been hitting what? Third. He hit third he hit second on Tuesday night. He hit second Sunday. I believe he hit third on Saturday. So even in a lineup that's not good, he's getting that prime real estate, right?
Right. And I think he will continue to. I mean, he's another guy who, when he's not at the top of the lineup, he's been hitting fifth. So, they're not burying him in that lineup. Listen, it's a lineup with Billy McKinney in it, so you can only bury a guy like Harrison Bader so far. But again, and if there's any team that you think is gonna make a move, I mean, the Yankees aren't gonna let themselves be fourth or fifth in the AL East. They're just, I can't see it happening. And so I think moves are going to be made, but not for Bader because his defense will keep him in the lineup. You pointed out the Donaldson thing. Would it surprise me if they let Donaldson have a hot stretch against Oakland and St. Louis and then they shipped him off somewhere? No, it wouldn't surprise me. And then you get Peraza up and who knows? But I think there's upside that Bader can tap into also.
What do you think about the season that Anthony Volpe has had so far? Fantasy-wise, you're getting some power and some speed, but it hasn't been great.
So I got to say, I wrote about this for AM New York because I was down at spring training and, covered the Yankees a little bit. And I wrote about what his realistic expectations were. And I think I predicted that he would hit 220, which most people would take really easily right now because he's been under 200 for a while. But I think this was what we should have expected from a guy who never put up high batting averages in the minors, who had strikeout issues, who was skipping AAA entirely off the back of a really strong spring training where, if you went to Baseball Reference and looked at his average opponent competition, it was basically high AA pitching that he was facing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was lighting up major leaguers. Now there is a really fantasy friendly skill set here, in the same way that like Bobby Witt Jr. is not putting up really strong traditional fantasy stats, but he's got power and speed. And I think if the Yankees lineup was a little better, it would be lifting Volpe a little bit. I really do believe them when they say they're not going to send him down. Like, I think maybe they should have, but I don't think they're going to. So if you can ride a 200 to 210 batting average with him, and that's not going to tank your team, I think you're still going to get usable stolen bases and home runs. And then hopefully the counting stats tick up when the lineup starts to do a little better. But I wouldn't expect him to all of a sudden like become a 280 hitter in the second half of the season. Like, I think this batting average is for real.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's a good comp to Bobby Witt Jr. I just think that the only thing with Witt is, like, if you look at Witt's expected stats, like, he deserves a lot better luck than he's had until this point. His expected batting average is 287, actually. And, you know, his sprint speed is the top, if not 100 percentile. It's it's right there among the league leaders. So if you want to buy low on Witt, I think this would be the time to do it. Volpe, I think, has more questions to answer overall about his profile.
Yeah. And I think, in dynasty leagues and keeper leagues and all that, I mean, there's still a really high level of natural talent there. So, I don't think he's going to be a 210 hitter for his career. I just think that might be where he's at for this year.